Welcome back to Seriously Funny. This is episode 14. Quote, be yourself, end quote. But before we get into that, it's been 1 week at college so far. I've survived. I think next week's episode is going to be, what's college like after 2 weeks? Because, week one is just, what's up? This is your class. This is all the stress that you should have for the class. See you next week. So next week is when things get worse. That and then my physics lab, which ends near my bedtime because I'm dumb and I didn't check the time of my classes when I signed up for them. I go to bed at 9, and the physics class is from like 6 something to 8:30, which is a problem for dinner and the reading that I do on a daily. So that'll suck. But that's in like 2 weeks. Or maybe after. I don't know, man. I guess, I'll give an update 2 episodes from now or 3 episodes from now, however long it is. But yeah, it's going to get harder. That's all I know. But we'll save that for next episode. As for music, what's going on in the music world, my music world at least. Before the Storm by Internet Money came out just a few days ago. When I'm recording this, I have no idea how many days it's been. Has it been a week? Did it come out? I have no idea when it came out. I want to say it came out on Friday, but I know it definitely came out before that. Dates and me don't do well, which tells you how great I'm going to do in college, yeah? Anyways, yeah, so Before the Storm, Internet Money, he's a producer, so all of the songs are just other artists on beats that he made, and all in all, the entire album's pretty great, That's, if you like trap, highly recommend it. Great trap songs. One guy on there sounds like Playboy Cardi, and I really like it since Cardi's basically God knows where, so that's the thing. Then what else we got? What am I watching? I finished watching Dexter. That was an interesting show. It's about the serial killer who works as a forensic at a police station, and 8 seasons long. A really beloved show for a long time. And except for the finale, which was very controversial because a lot of people were not a fan. I can't say I hated it, but it wasn't very satisfactory. I went onto YouTube and watched some alternate ending that a fan just kind of made up, and I liked that one better, so that'll probably be the one I picture in my mind when I imagine the ending. But yeah, it was a great show. Really long though, so yeah, other than that it was fine. But now it's over. Back to anime, and I finished watching Amagami SS Plus, which is the second season of Amagami SS, which is an interesting anime that I don't know, man, too confusing to talk about right now. And then I listened back to my episode from last week, and one thing I noticed is don't laugh at your own jokes, because it sounds so weird, robotic, and just strange. The downsides of being on a podcast yourself and having humor like mine. A lot of my humor is deadpan, so to signify when I'm having a conversation with someone that it's a joke, I laugh. Just, I don't mean what I just said. So they know it's okay to laugh at it. Doing that on the podcast doesn't work. I can't just laugh at it to signify that it's funny stuff. I don't know the humor of the people listening, and I know that me, even when I listen back, I was like, why is he laughing? What the frick is this, man? This is just weird. So yeah, that was strange, awkward, and I'll probably cut down on the how you say, yeah, laughing at my own jokes. That should be a rule anyway, right? Don't laugh at your own jokes. I should know that. Yeah, iPad and notes for college. Jumping around in this intro everywhere, man. iPad notes for college is interesting. I have to relearn how to write, which is weird, and my handwriting, I got it better, but then staying in a straight line is hard. I mean, writing on glass, you basically have to relearn how to write. But when you do, I've been told it's great. So, I mean, it's going well-ish now. It's really convenient and easy for me to submit things and do things. So, definitely a worthwhile investment for the great old college thing. But yeah, now getting into the actual topic of this episode. Quote, be yourself, end quote. That statement, is it that advice? Is that good advice? I don't know, man. Also, one thing, going back to something random, I don't know why I talk about this stuff. Maybe no one cares, but playing with my microphone volume is very strange. Sometimes I peak, sometimes I don't. I don't know how much my voice fluctuates throughout an episode, but sometimes I'll speak really loud and it'll be fine, and other times I won't and it won't be. I'm usually pretty close to the microphone. I don't move that far away from it ever, so I don't know what causes it. I don't know. You guys will have to deal with volumes changing all the time, so too bad. Hopefully it doesn't bother any audiophiles listening. But yeah, quote, be yourself, end quote. Is that good advice? You know, you hear that. How should I act? How should I act at the interview? Be yourself, dude. Okay, yeah, bet. And you know, you hear this. You go on dates. Ah, crap, man. She's really hot, dude. What do I do? Don't worry about it, dog. Just be yourself. Alright, man. You're fine. Right, you know? And so I just laughed again. Oh no. Already failing here. Ah, crap. Anyways, yeah. And I think about this all the time. Because I just, whenever I hear advice, it's like, can I disprove that? Is that advice wrong in any way, shape, or form? And so for this one, I don't know. Let's go through this hypothetical, all right? Let's say my homie, my buddy, he comes up to me. Yo, man, I got a date. That's going to be my buddy's voice. Now, this buddy of mine, he's a fine guy, okay? But he's not the best at the first impressions game. You know, he's a little bit messy, okay? A little bit of a slob. He comes off a little rude at times, you know, it just happens. He's a little insensitive, which goes with the rudeness. And he's definitely not the greatest flirter or sweet talker, you know? You get the point, right? My buddy here, he got some flaws. You feel me? So I reply to him with the best in mind for this date. Instead of thinking about what's the best for him, I'm like, what's this female like? You know, this date. Oh, nice, man, nice. Oh, wait, this is my voice, crap. Oh, nice, man, nice. What's she like? She's an absolute hottie, man, a real pickup. Seems nice too. You got any advice? I'm kind of nervous. Do I really just tell him, be yourself, guy? So, I don't know, man. I know that if he is himself, first impression wise, it's not going to go well. So I can't just tell him, be yourself. Now, some people, maybe you can just shut down this entire episode by saying the advice is situational, in which if the person is okay, then you tell them, be yourself. However, if they're not okay, give them some other advice. Hey, don't talk about your coin collection, all right? No one cares. And no one cares about the Play-Doh that you've collected for the past 32 years. All right, man? No, bad impression. All right, don't talk about that. You know, maybe you can shut down the entire everything that I'll go through here. But yeah. And so the question, though, is this advice, this be yourself advice, is it really good advice? You know, I want to say no. I mean, look, man. if someone's not gonna win by being themselves, can you really, honestly, tell them to be? No, you can't. If you suck and you're coming to me, I can't say be yourself. Knowing me, I'm probably gonna say don't be yourself. Okay, be like this, because I'm a jerk. But honesty, best policy, right? But most people won't do that. Most people won't look at someone and say, don't be yourself. All right, bad idea. And so, I mean, another example, like if Hitler asked for advice, is be yourself the advice you'd give him, right? No, please, Hitler, don't be yourself. Yourself is kind of a wet wipe. You feel me, Hitler? Your personality is not the greatest. You're a great orator, great speaker, but my G, you as a human being, as a sentient piece of meat, you kind of suck. So, I can't tell him to be himself. But, that's a problem here. But I guess with that question comes the retort. Why is my phone going off? I don't even know where my phone is. Oh, crap. I got 2 texts. Oh, wait. 1 text. 2 devices. I don't know if that ding went off. Hey, look, guys. People know me. I'm not completely antisocial. Look at that, all right? Anyways, the retort that would come out of that is, can I give any better advice? What better advice do you have to offer? And, how crap of a person does it make you to say, quote, don't be yourself, end quote? The answer to that is it makes you quite a crap person. Don't go around doing that. If you're like me, honesty is the best policy, no F's given whatsoever. Okay, you can go around doing that. Just be aware of the consequences. People will probably not be too fond of the fact that you said that. Right, so then this is what I wrote down here for if I can give any better advice. I probably shouldn't clear my throat into the mic, so I moved away a little bit. We all put faces up, faces for interviews, faces for people we don't know, and it's not, quote, fake, end quote, per se. It's not, extremely far off from who you actually are. So there's some modifications. It is a filter on the photo. It's not really changing anything. You're not going into Photoshop and completely changing everything. You're just putting a nice, simple filter on there. I like a blue filter. Some people like other filters. All right? And that's, we do that. This is normal. This is not being fake. This is not everyone's a snake, a-hole fake. No, this is normal cognitive biases. I don't even remember what they were called. Social congruency tendency and something else. But yeah, we all put these faces up. We put these masks on at times. Why is my phone dinging again? I should silence this, shouldn't I? Before bad things happen to me. But, these faces, right? I'm losing my track of thought, God. But if we put just a bit of energy into being a little more this mask, at least, the face we put up is the energy that we exert when just going into a conversation. We route some of this energy for the interview. We put it into being a little more formal and maybe a little less bad mouth. You don't want to go into an interview swearing up a storm unless you're Deborah Morgan from Dexter, shout out. But you don't, or you're Gary Vaynerchuk. That guy swearing up a storm all the time. Love that man with absolute passion, but he swears a lot. It's kind of his brand. I don't know. It fits well. But maybe it is situational. And I know that's probably the answer, right? A lot of people I know, they get nervous when they shouldn't, and I know they shouldn't because I know them and just the person they are, and they don't put many faces on just because they're genuinely an amazing person, more or less. Of course, when you get comfortable with someone, you open up more and you're just a little more dumb on purpose just because it's fun and funny. You're more willing to make mistakes and be vulnerable. That's how I don't know, man. That's a different podcast episode. But yeah, I guess if I know them and I know that them is kind of whack, it would be situational. Be a little less formal, maybe swear a little less, my G. Don't make fun of them, but give them some tips on normal human formalities. Sometimes you don't have to fit the mold of society. I guess this is another topic that's weird and strange, and don't be what society tells you to be, right? But know what society wants you to be. So if you want a position in society, i.e. a job, you can fit the mold when necessary. If it's a date or something, I would really then, yeah, sure, I just be yourself, all right? Because at the end of the day, it's a date. You're planning to spend a very long time in interpersonal relationship with this human being. They should probably know you for who you are at the beginning, so they know if it's going to work out or not, instead of two people having a broken heart a few months into the relationship when they realize that you have a Play-Doh collection and you're weird. No, I'm not speaking from personal experience. I have a card collection. Thank you. Okay. But yeah, these faces, we put them on and they make small adjustments to who we are, but doesn't really stray away from who you are. So yeah, just giving advice would be, where should you direct your energy to when you go for whatever you're going for. And one piece, or at least what did I write here? One piece of advice: if you can honestly look at yourself and say, quote, "I suck," end quote, work on yourself, quote, or parentheses, dating should be out of the question, parentheses. So yeah, I mean, look, man, I think honesty with yourself is really important. I know the only person I lie to in this world is myself, but I'm fairly honest with myself for who I am. And know your traits, know who you are, and if you can look at yourself and say, yeah, I'm kind of a sucky person, which is subjective, not subjective. It's dependent. What's the word I'm looking for? The metric of whether or not you're a sucky person it depends on what you want in life. Some people have to be nicer, or some people, if they're mean, that's not a flaw. Being very pushy and leadership oriented and there's traits like that. That's fine for some things, depending on what you want to do. However, for other things, like if you're a therapist, being pushy is not really the greatest of moves. It depends on what you want to do, so no one else can tell you suck. I mean, I guess they can. Whether or not you accept it or listen to them is another podcast episode. So many episodes I have to go back and listen to these, because honestly, after next week, I don't know what I'm going to write about. I've been thinking and focusing on college so much. Podcast topics haven't been in the biggest of the bags, so I haven't written anything else out. I have this one, but I'm saving it for later because I think it's a really good topic. But yeah. Anyways, if you can look at yourself honestly and say you suck, go work on yourself. And if you can look at yourself and say you suck, don't date anyone at all. Please, come on, man, work on yourself first. Or gal, not, I don't even know what words I'm looking for anymore. It's early in the morning, you feel me? Really quiet and calm, and I'm really quiet and calm. Maybe that is tellable? I don't freaking know. I don't know, man. I'm sure that I'm a little calmer than usual in these podcasts. I don't know. Whatever, hopefully you're enjoying it. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and all that great sharing stuff. It's not the end of the podcast yet, don't worry. Wait, unless you wanted it to be. Please don't click off yet. I laughed again at myself. Frick. God dang it. This is a process, man. It's a process, alright? Don't bully me. Actually, do go bully me. I like the engagement. Leave a comment or a review. Except for the review, make sure it's 5 stars. Don't say this guy laughs at himself and is weird. God dang it, someone will. If someone does that, that'd be so freaking funny. Anyways, I think one piece of advice that I've heard with this hypothetical is rather than saying be yourself, rather than saying be yourself, say don't be someone you're not. And the difference is with those masks, with those little faces that we put up, like I said, they're not far from who you are. You're still showing you. You're still interested in the things you're interested in. You're still interested in your Play-Doh collection, but you just say it in a different way. Or you just say I am interested in collecting, and if they ask further questions, start dodging. Don't tell people you collect friggin' Play-Doh. Look, man, there's a lot of things in the world to collect: sneakers, jackets, cards, other things like rocks. If you're a kid, I used to do it too. I liked bringing rocks home, but don't tell people about your rock. Unless you got a mineral collection, I mean, that's kind of cool. But if you have a mineral collection, you're probably the type of person that if I said, oh, you have a rock collection or a fancy rock collection, you'd get mad at me. Don't do that, okay? Because, no offense, but minerals, any earth science teacher listening to this, I'm going to stick my face in the way. Any earth science teacher listening to this right now, minerals are rocks. Do you understand? Okay. If I ever get big and science teachers listen to that, I'm going to get so much hate. Crap. Not if I ever win. It's going to happen. Promise, okay? I'm going to get huge. I don't know how. I've been thinking about expanding this. Don't know how to do it. We'll get there one day. I have to make an Instagram page for this podcast. Maybe start posting stuff on that friggin' Instagram page. That would be awkward and weird, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm not really great with I don't know, man. Maybe I should hire a social media marketer. Yeah, so many digressions today. But yeah, if you don't be someone you're not, right? So that means, go ahead and put the face on. Use your common sense to know what face you should have on and what you probably shouldn't do. But, don't become someone that you're not. Don't put up not a face. Don't get a puppet. Use a mask, right? So that's a weird analogy that probably only makes sense to me. It barely even made sense to me, so I doubt anyone else understood it. I apologize. Do I apologize? Yeah, I'll try my best to not make dumb, stupid analogies. Sometimes they're funny. If you're laughing at me right now, you're welcome. I'm glad my pain and suffering is humorous to you. I'm kidding. No pain and suffering here. We're clear. We're safe. Kind of. That's somewhat a lie. Anyways, pain, all right, part of the human experience. It's the compost for art, as we discussed last podcast, and this podcast is a really weird form of art for me, maybe. I don't know, man. Anyways, yeah, at the end of the day, man, you should always work to be better, regardless of who or what you are. You could be a saint. If the case, I mean, you're pretty great, but I don't know if you could get better in any way, shape, or form. Probably not, but try your best, I guess. Some people, I guess, they hit limits on just how amazing of people, like Fred Rogers, I guess I couldn't tell him to be better. You couldn't get better than Fred Rogers, So, I don't know. But yeah, always grow, always work to evolve yourself. And yeah, for now, though, growing and evolving, whatever you're doing, just don't be someone you're not, alright? Unless you're growing into someone that's completely different than yourself. If you want to completely change and reinvent yourself, you're not going to be someone you're not. Rather, you're just going to, you are just going to be completely different, which is interesting and fun, and one day I would like to try it. But it would also require me doing a lot of things that are not the most of enjoyable. I don't know, man. I think I talked about changing your brand. I guess changing yourself. Could that be the next podcast? Not the next podcast, but the next podcast, since the next one's the college stuff. Huh. That's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. I came up with a blog post idea that probably could have became a podcast idea in bed, but I was in bed and I was so adamant on I'm gonna go to sleep soon that I didn't write it down. I was like, I should write this down. I'm gonna forget it. And worse than forgetting it, I forgot it, but then remembered that I had a great idea. So I don't remember the idea, but I just remember that it was great. So it's really sad. And I woke up that morning and told myself I promise myself now that I will always write down any ideas, regardless of whether or not I'm about to fall asleep. So, yeah. Anyways, this was fun. I like this episode. It was more funny, I think, than others, right? So that's always great. Hopefully you laughed. I didn't laugh at my own jokes except for 2.5 times, maybe. Yeah. So that's cool. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. And what else do I got here? Other than, do that subscribe thing. Do the follow thing if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else. And no matter what you're listening on, there's links to other platforms in the description if you want to go head over somewhere else, wherever you found this podcast. In YouTube, I have the links for Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I don't think I'm up on Google Podcasts yet. I think there's a problem there. I should probably go talk to support for that one. But yeah. College started. Hopefully I don't skip any days. I really enjoy recording this. So yeah, I will hopefully see, or I won't see you. I would love to see all of you, but yeah, hopefully I can also continue to grow this podcast. Someone I know, they go to Harvard. They began a podcast, and they have 4 people, so screw me backwards. Look at them. They started a network. They also use Anchor. I don't know. They started really well, and they have so much more potential, especially since they have the automatic audience of Harvard students. So I don't know. Really great move for them. And I think one mistake I made with this podcast, the biggest mistake I made with this podcast, is I started too late. This is just ramblings. If you want to exit the episode, go ahead, leave that follow, that like, that subscribe, whatever it is. And please, please, please share this episode. Otherwise, you can sit here with me while I ramble for a bit. But yeah, it's the biggest mistake I made with this podcast was starting it way too late. See, now everyone has a podcast, right? The market is way too saturated, and I don't have any leverage. I'm not an Instagram star. I'm not a YouTube star. I'm not famous on any other avenue in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a regular, normal, nobody knows dude. If my blog was big, different case. However, unfortunately, my blog is also not big. Man, I really need to improve all of these things. God, because I really want to grow these now. I figured out one thing I want to do is I want to assist people. And to one extent, it's make what you love, but I love giving things to people. And whether that be this podcast or whether that be making a travel channel in a few months, just on how to travel and then actually traveling, of course. I do want to grow an audience because I love communicating with people, and I love giving value to people. So, I don't know. The money, yeah, of course. I want to, I don't know. With money, I really just want to give it away. I want to probably give it back to the audience. I want to hire my brother as a personal chef. Shout out to you, buddy. We were talking recently, and he's like, I told him, man, if you made a cooking channel, I would probably actually cook the things you made on it, like no cap. And he's like, nah, you should go get effing racks, and you should hire me as a personal chef. And I paused, and I said, bro, that's actually a great idea. It's noted. So one day, if he's not doing whatever he's doing, I'm definitely gonna hire that man. But yeah, it would just be reinvestment into providing more and more. I really do want to provide with the short time I have left on this planet, which is weird to say because I'm 18, but short time is a short time. But yeah, man, I hope I can make something that will somehow get somewhere. Maybe it's just mastering a skill and then putting that out somehow. I don't know. Whatever I have to do, hopefully I'll do it. No regrets, but I definitely should have started this podcast way earlier when the market was way less saturated and I had a a larger chance of growing, I need to look at the next thing. I need to really quickly, I'm probably just going to keep watching Gary Vee because that man has his finger on the pulse. I need to figure out what's next, like what's going to be the next big thing. TikTok's, F TikTok, I'm not doing TikTok, but what comes after TikTok that I could somehow leverage to my advantage, right? So hopefully that all goes fine and dandy. So yeah. Anyways, now the podcast is over. If you listened to this point, you're a G. Thank you. You're probably the person that really would leave that 5-star review, which you should do. And so thank you for that. Thank you for liking. Thank you for following, subscribing, and sharing this podcast. Seriously Funny, hosted by me, Mashnor Kabir, which I probably should have put at the top of the episode. But yeah, I will hopefully be seeing you all next week. That's all for this week.